Welcome to Tune Into Wellness podcast. I am your host, registered nurse and holistic wellness nurse coach, Jewelene Meacham. This podcast is designed to share inspiring stories, provide you with useful resources, and to empower you to live vibrantly. Following a diagnosis of metastatic breast cancer, I committed to supporting wellness for those facing cancer and chronic illnesses. But we don't have to wait for a health crisis to find wellness. Wherever you are in your journey, tune in each week for the best conversations from experts and industry leaders to inspire us to live our most vibrant life now. Welcome to Tune Into Wellness. This month, we have been focusing on nutrition and how the more we understand about our digestive system and what we put in our bodies, how it can help us or hurt us. We are going to continue that discussion today with Dustin Davis. Previously, you have had episodes on the microbiome, pre and probiotics, and leaky gut. And tonight, we are going to learn about a plant-based diet. So, Dustin, I am so excited to talk with you and learn a little bit tonight around how we can eat healthier and put better things into our bodies. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you to this place in your journey?
Okay, sure. Thanks for having me. So I'm 46 years old. Let me see. So plant-based nutrition, it's still hard to do. It's still hard to follow, but my journey with it started several years ago when I was diagnosed with fatty liver disease. And, when you're at the doctor's office and they say, hey, you got a bad liver, and you don't know anything about your liver or anything like that, you think you're going to die. So the nurse practitioner, she's like, don't worry about it. A lot of people have it. And she's right. I think it's like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 Americans have fatty liver. And fatty liver can be extremely dangerous. Fatty liver is the number one cause for liver transplants, not alcoholism. And I remember talking to my doctor. I was like, how can I have bad liver? I said, I don't even drink. I'm 46. I've never had a beer, And he was like, yeah, well, doesn't matter. If you don't treat your liver right, you're going to have to make some changes. So it just led me down a road of doing an enormous amount of research, because what's great about the liver is the liver will heal itself. If you treat it right, the liver will take care of itself. You'll be fine if you catch it in time and you're willing to make some changes, which for the most part, I've kept all those changes down. So which is good.
Well, Dustin, I was excited to talk with you about this because a couple of months ago, you and I had a conversation around some health issues. And for me, with a history of metastatic cancer, I had lesions in my liver and went through my treatment, and everything is still showing no evidence of disease. However, I do have fatty liver. And so it was interesting when I went in for my routine scan, I was probably the only person that day that told the technician I was rooting for fatty liver, because I knew my liver enzymes were up. And that's how you can tell in your blood work. Mm-hmm. So you're right, Dustin, when you are keeping regular checkups, they're going to check on those things. And, there's lots of things that you can preemptively do. But I was rooting for fatty liver versus, cancer.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, fatty liver is reversible.
100%.
It is not an easily reversible thing, in the sense of we have to learn new habits. Mm-hmm. We have to learn new ways of thinking about food and what we are putting in our bodies. When you and I talked a few months ago, I was so impressed with how much you had put together the vast amount of information on converting to a plant-based diet in like real life times, 44 years old, father of 2, teacher, leader, and I need to convert from eating McDonald's to eating a salad. That's a big
That
deal.
is a big
And I
deal.
was really impressed with how much you had retained and like put into practice. And you certainly challenged me with a couple of things to incorporate into my diet, which I have done, and cursed your name many times as I was drinking black coffee, but I love you for it anyway. There you go. So yeah, please just share with us a little bit just to get started
Okay.
on, what was I think your aha moment was the doctor saying, hey, you've got fatty liver.
Yeah.
But when you started researching, what was it that like resonated with you on I can do this? Like, I want to live, I want to see my kids grow up, and reading about this diet.
Yeah, so that's the big thing, because my kids are 6 and 8, and at the time they were like, so they would have been like 4 and 6 or something like that. So I was like, I kind of need to be around, show them the way, make sure my daughter doesn't bring home a turd when she's dating, 'cause there's enough turds out there. I don't want her to bring some guy I don't like in my house, So when I was just doing all my research with it, the first thing I learned is the number one enemy to your liver is sugar. Primarily processed sugar. If you look at how much sugar we put in our body a day, I think the average person does like 22 teaspoons of sugar a day. If you just take sugar out of your diet, your liver immediately starts to heal itself. I mean, the healing process will start. But then there's food that you can add to your diet that will make the process go by faster, I should say, and help flush toxins out.
So let me jump in there,
Sure.
Dustin, for just a minute. So talking about the liver taking in sugar, and sugar being such a big component that can make an impact. If we think about what the liver is doing, it is a filter for our blood. And as it filters our blood, it wants to release the sugar. It wants to release what we don't need to convert to energy. But when we take in more than we need, so we're eating those bad for you foods that are high in sugar, and we're not exercising, so we don't need a lot of extra energy from sugar, the liver says, no problem, I'll just hold on to it until you need it next time. And what happens is we just take in more sugar, and the liver starts building up with this reserve that is then really counteracting its ability to filter properly. So, just the function of the liver, what we're putting in our body is hindering it from doing a required action for us to live. So,
yeah. So I just started learning everything I could, and I started changing my diet. And then I found a course through Cornell University on plant-based nutrition. I actually got a scholarship and got it for free, but the course essentially costs around $1,000. It lasts 3 months, and you get your certificate in plant-based nutrition. Learned an enormous amount of stuff. One of the main things that I'm really good at that I immediately gave up, because, like I said, sugar is your number one enemy. Is I gave up all Cokes, Pepsi, whatever, soda, whatever you want to call it. I gave all that up instantly, because that is just like you're just pouring sugar straight into your body, Oh, and also anything with high fructose corn syrup. Man, I was straight up treating anything with high fructose corn syrup like it was just poison, and so I just started taking all that stuff out, and then I started drinking lemon water. And actually, I would tell you that a lemon was my favorite fruit, just because of all the nutrition that's in a lemon. Because, when you think citrus, you think vitamin C, and you should think vitamin C, but there's just so much more to a lemon. Like if you heat that lemon water up, there's so much more nutritional benefits. So when I was going through that journey, it was in education, we have a saying is you never miss a teachable moment. Try to implement that with my lifestyles. Like if I'm going to eat something, if I'm going to drink something, don't miss a moment to make it where it's having a positive impact on my body. It's just like the black coffee thing. I literally would just drink black coffee and lemon water all the time.
So tell us why black coffee is important. Tell us, pitch this one to the world. You pitched it to me and I bought it.
The last I researched, it has been shown to reduce the chances of getting liver cancer by 10%.
Excellent.
Okay. And you know what? That's 10% I'll take every time. I'll take it. When you're going down that journey, you get a mindset of just determination that if something goes wrong, it's not going to be through a lack of effort. You know, because you're going to do what you have to do to be as healthy as possible, you know. So I learned plant-based nutrition courses and everything just about reversing everything through nutrition. So specifically with fatty liver, like some foods that are great for your liver, like avocados are tremendous for your liver, onions, garlic, any kind of greens are going to be great for your liver. Not only that, but they're great for your heart too. The liver, the better the food is, the better it reacts with the liver, the better it is for cleaning your liver out. So like parsley, I can't stand parsley. I think parsley is about gross. But when you're told and you're doing this research of how wonderful it is, like, well, let's give it a try. And, you know, you eat it and you go, man, that junk tasted awful. But you do it because you want to be healthy.
Right. We need to switch the thinking in our heads from I'm eating because I want pleasure from it to I'm eating because it's good for me.
Yes.
And I could get pleasure from it, right? So I can like whole foods. One thing that I really want to hone in on that you just said there was you are going to the grocery store and you are getting these whole foods. You are buying parsley, you are buying greens, you are buying avocado, you're buying garlic. You are not going necessarily to a store to get a supplement. We want to go to Whole Foods first when we can and supplements when we can't. You know, you want to get as clean of a product as possible and as pure of a product as possible. So, you know, that's a big key thing. And hearing you say that where your mind didn't immediately go to, I don't like parsley, is there a pill for it? There are a number of options that you have when you are standing in the aisle in whatever store you're going into. And the biggest thing is you need to know the source. You know, you need to know the source. Supplements are not regulated by the FDA. So therefore, they are not going under the scrutiny that our medications are, our foods are. So you can have a lot of pushing of a supplement that if you don't know what you're doing there, you are just paying a lot of money to have it go through your body and you are going to urinate your money right out. It goes right through you because you do need to have, oftentimes when you take supplements, a supplement and a counterpart to make it work together. Or you are only going to be able to absorb X amount in a period of time. So high dose supplements are oftentimes a waste of money. Whole foods, on the other hand, are wonderful for our bodies.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're going to spend your money, spend it there.
So, yeah, absolutely. So like when I go to the grocery store and I'm in the produce section, and whether it's Publix, Kroger, Ingles, or if I'm able to find a Whole Foods or Harry's or whatever, when I look at the produce section, I mean, first of all, it's just beautiful because of all the colors, right? I mean, the colors are just magnificent. You get that bright, vibrant red and purple. You know, you got those beautiful yellows, and you know, you see that rich green color and everything. It's just beautiful. It's like this rainbow of food, you know.
And we eat with our eyes.
And that's right. So, and I remember I was at Kroger and I was like, this is kind of like God's pharmacy, you know, because obviously back in biblical times, they weren't taking penicillin. So, I mean, what's the saying goes, let food be thy medicine. What you want to do is when you're shopping for food, you know, you're getting your greens because you want to get those greens. Those are so important for your liver. If fatty liver is your thing, the number one food you need to have in your body are greens. And you want to have greens every single day. If you can have more than once, have more than once. Do spinach at lunch, kale for dinner, or something like it, and just switch it up. But you've got to put those greens in your body. Smoothie is a great way to get greens in your body. Great way, especially like
kale.
Kale. Well, a good trick with kale is make kale chips. Kale chips are pretty good.
Okay.
And I mean, you're going to cook some of the nutrition out of them because that's how that works, but it's certainly a lot healthier than potato chips.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
certainly healthier than Doritos. And we all know Doritos are like the best. So at least they are here. But make your smoothie. Kale in soup is pretty good. I don't know if you've ever had kale in soup, but that's pretty good too. So when you're making your plate of food, like if you're going down that road of plant-based nutrition and you're really wanting to heal your body up, you want to have different color foods, right? Because you want to have that red bell pepper. You want to have that avocado. You want to have that red onion or yellow onion, okay? So now we got some red, we got some purple, we got greens. You want to bring in these different colors, okay? Because they all offer something different. And I heard Dr. Campbell, he's one of the guys that leads the plant-based nutrition thing with Cornell. He says that nutrition should work together as a symphony. Think of instruments coming together to perform a symphony. Okay. Nutrition is the same way. So you have these vegetables that do this. You have fruit that does this. It all comes together to perform for your body. With fruit juice can be very misleading because anytime you go to the grocery store, fruit juice, it's all marketing, 100% vitamin C, excellent source of all this plethora of things. And all that may be true, but what they're not telling you is how much sugar is in it and what that sugar is doing. It's just going straight to your liver and it's killing your liver. And it doesn't matter if it's apple juice, orange juice, grape juice, whatever, it doesn't matter. And that was something that was hard for me to hear at first because, I mean, that's part of the SAD diet. The standard American diet is orange juice for breakfast. It's part of your breakfast. But, and you just don't think of it as being something bad because, you're getting your vitamin C in. And while you may be getting your vitamin C in, your liver is going, dude, you're killing me. And so, and then someone will always ask me, well, what about eating an orange or eating an apple? I was like, well, that's different because when you drink it, there's no digestion time. It gets digested just like that, right? But when you eat it, when you eat that apple, when you eat that orange, your body takes time to digest and process through your body. So when it's done slowly like that, it doesn't damage your liver because it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Well, and when you think about it too, so even when you see, I think, juices that will say 100% fruit juice, we feel really confident. You just squeezed an apple and put it in a jar, right? Or jug. No, it is processed. If you've ever juiced anything, the juice does not look like what you buy in the store.
No, it does not. It does not, because I have a Breville juicer, and let me tell you, real apple juice is fantastic. It tastes dynamite, but it don't look anything like what you see in the store. Okay, it don't look anything like it, because like what I used to do is I would get Granny Smith apples, juice them, and then I juice like half a lemon or something with it. It is incredibly tart. But my gosh, was it crisp and delicious, but too much sugar. So I had to stop doing that. I was like, son of a gun, this is too good to not be drinking. You just got to be smart about what you're eating and putting in your body.
It's all a balance. It really is. And it's learning that balance. Yeah. We're talking about going to the grocery store and getting our fruits and vegetables. And one of the things that I think is an additional challenge for folks as they're looking to convert to a healthier diet is the cost, and then looking at organic versus non-organic. Now, of course, organic is going to be more pure. You're not going to have the pesticides. You're going to have more awareness of the purity of the product going into your body. So that's always something to strive for. But even if you don't go that route, if that step is a little too much for you, just start getting those whole foods from the grocery store to begin with and converting that way. And I love that symphony of color.
Yeah. So what I do, because the food can be expensive, is there's always something that is on sale. There's always a buy one, get one free or something like that. And that is the approach I take with it a lot of times. Now, like if it's something that I know I have to have, then I'll bite the bullet and I'll get it. Like if I know I want avocados, then I'll get the avocados, because I mean, who doesn't like a good guacamole salad, right? you know.
That's another thing to think about. So, for those of us in the general population, we're all struggling with trying to eat better. There's always a different diet push out there, but there is such strong messaging and studies on the benefits of a plant-based diet or a higher whole foods diet to increase our health across the board. But one of the things that's a challenge is we have become a society that doesn't like going to the grocery store. So we're either ordering for someone else to pick something up for us, and then we don't think that they will pick out our produce properly. So we end up not buying as much, or we're not going as frequently as we may need to the grocery store to where we don't have spoilage.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the things for me is I would spend the money with great intention of eating healthier. And then all of a sudden I looked in that crisper and things were not crisp anymore. So
that happened to me too. And it's happened to me more than once. And it's quite irritating because you go, that's $20 that I just wasted right there. Because like you have the greatest of intention, as you were saying, why even bother? Why even bother? So here's what you do. This is how you prevent all of that from happening. You plan a menu. So the intention of making a menu has to be very deliberate and you have to follow through with it. If you do that, nothing is wasted. Nothing whatsoever. I had to waste some money in order to learn that lesson.
That's great. You're exactly right. So if we plan, we're intentional. I love that word. We have to intentionally be putting food into our bodies that we want to, and we can intentionally do that by intentionally making a menu that intentionally gets us to the grocery store to buy the things that we need to buy. And if we follow all of that, we've eaten it all. So, I've as I've listened to you, I've taken a few notes here of just some great takeaways around getting started. Number one, reducing the sugar intake is paramount. And a great way of doing that as just one relatively easy step is cutting out sodas and replacing it with lemon water. Lemon water being not only a substitute for a bad option, but it's actually a very positive option for your body. And if you can take it heated, even better for you. Then when we talk about fatty liver, which as you said, about 1 in 3 of us have, so I think we all need to perk up our ears here, but some great takeaways there. The black coffee. So I did a little bit of research and it was recommended at minimum 2 or 3 cups. And I was like cursing your name. I really was like, I don't want to do it. But, maybe don't drink the whole pot of coffee, but definitely 2 or 3 cups if you can is a benefit to reduce your fatty liver. Having all of the greens that you can possibly eat, another great thing for fatty liver, and avocados, onions, garlic, and going to the whole foods versus the supplement. Having something on hand like kale soup or the kale chips, things that are quick and easy for you to grab. And then, finally, like going to the grocery store and purposefully getting that variety of foods, but getting the volume that is going to correlate with your menu so that you don't have wasted items. And, if we commit to this process, it really isn't as costly as we think it is in our heads. Because if you truly looked at your bank statement and just looked at how many DoorDash entries there are, just count that up for a minute. I bet you have spent more than you would on fresh spinach, carrots, onions, and garlic.
And it's a lot cheaper than a liver transplant too.
I think that's an excellent point. We really, that is not a place you want to be. And
No.
it is quite unfortunate that as a nation, we are so driven to convenience foods and processed foods because of our lifestyle of hurry, hurry, run, run, non-intentional eating, that we have become a nation where a number one cause of death is what we're putting in our bodies to feed it. We are basically putting diesel in a unleaded tank, right? Like we've really shifted the focus there. So, another thing that is a big takeaway is that if we truly have the intention of wanting to live healthier lives, live longer lives, allow our bodies that were so magnificently made and intricately made to take care of us with very little effort on our part. It's very little effort. We don't do anything to breathe. We don't do anything for our heart to beat. We don't do anything for our immune system to be working. All of the circulatory system, all those systems have an innate knowledge of what they're supposed to be doing within us. That's all right. We have to do is take care of this body that was created and put healthy things in so that we can support it. So if we're intentionally doing that, one of the things that you ultimately have to become aware of is that if we will quiet ourselves, our bodies will tell us what they need. We will crave certain foods. We will know that we need to add more fiber to our diet because of the way our bowels are moving. We will know that we need to increase maybe an antioxidant because we are going into a season where we want immune boosters. So, there's intention behind what we're doing, and then realizing that there's a purpose behind it in being good stewards of the bodies that we've been given. And Dustin, I will tell you, you and I, we've seen highs and lows and goods and bads for years and years. And I certainly have spent many of my 55 years, I think you threw your age out there earlier, but that 55 years of not giving the right attention to my body that I needed to, flippantly thinking of what I am eating or not eating or doing or not doing. And one of the things that people will oftentimes question is, well, why did all of a sudden I start having these problems now? I haven't changed my diet. No, but you hit critical mass. Like you hit the spot where it said, yep, can't keep doing this. And now I'm going to start not functioning properly. And why do we have to wait to get to that point before we are taking note of some of these basic fundamental things of living a good life?
Yeah. And I'm just glad it was the liver with me and not like my heart.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, but I mean, here's the thing, realistically, if my liver was bad, then that probably wasn't the only thing that was bad in my body. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just kind of like a warning sign.
It was your warning sign. And luckily, Dustin, you heard the call, you stepped up, and you made some changes that have positively impacted your life, your longevity, and to be able to be there to make sure Sweet Scarlett brings only nice boys home when she gets old enough.
That's right. We ain't allowing turds in.
And that Dusty is the gentleman that he will grow up to be like his daddy. So I am so thankful that you shared some time with me tonight and with,
my pleasure,
with all of us on Tune Into Wellness. And I am sure that we will have you back. We will put some resources on the links so that you can have some references for some takeaways. I think one of the ones that I had thought about, Dustin, was Forks Over Knives is a great resource.
Yeah, that's an excellent documentary.
Yes. So we'll put some links for folks that want to dive a little deeper into this. And no doubt we will have you back at some point, Dustin, to share more of your journey.
Oh,
and
please do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
It was fun. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.